Hi, this is Andre. Welcome to Synthisophy, integrating the wisdoms of history into present culture. As always, we ask, what do you think? In 2020, far-right populist incumbent President Donald Trump lost his re-election bid and then embarked on a campaign of outright lies to convince his supporters the election had been rigged, which resulted in the siege of the American Capitol on January 6, 2021. Fast forward almost 2 years to the day, January 8, 2023, and you have Bolsonaro, Brazil's far-right populist incumbent president known as the Trump of the tropics. He repeats the Trump playbook after he loses his election bid and thousands of supporters storm the Brazilian capital. Look familiar? Both the insurrections failed, but here's where we see the difference between a healthy democracy and one that's hanging by a thread. After January 8th, almost all of Brazil turned on the plotters and made Bolsonaro an outcast. On January 6th, Trump went to Mar-a-Lago in Florida to accept tributes and plot his next moves. A year after his defeat, Bolsonaro was also in Florida, where he ate by himself at a KFC. Today, only 6% of Brazilians say they support the mob that sacked their capital, but 35% of Americans view Trump favorably. In Brazil, not only has Bolsonaro been barred from running again for 3 years, but the country united around their new leader, Luiz Inácio Lula. He walked arm in arm with congressional leaders from the left and the right in solidarity against the uprising. In America, most Republicans were literally too scared to stand up to Trump and the insurrection. Now there are 172 election deniers currently sitting in Congress. In Brazil, their conservative party is where ours was during Watergate, when Republicans were willing to remove Nixon from office. In August 1974, Republican Senator Barry Goldwater met with Nixon at the White House and urged him to resign. At the time, Nixon's impeachment by the House of Representatives was imminent, and Goldwater warned him that fewer than 10 Republican senators would vote against conviction. Nixon announced his resignation the next day. So what's the difference and what has changed? Note that Brazil's constitution is only 35 years old, prior to which they lived under a dictatorial regime. Our constitution is 235 years old, prior to which we lived under a dictatorial regime, led by King George III of England. Apparently, 6% of Brazilians have forgotten their history, whereas here in America, it appears 35% have forgotten theirs. So what do you think? Share your views at Synthisophy.